Hi everybody, welcome to the Manifold channel. Today we're going to take a second look at previews, and we'll look at how previews can be used as a working tool where previews can appear in windows, and the transform pane doing previews remembers what previews it's done for different windows, and as you switch between the windows that still maintains that context. It's really swift. And we're also going to take a look at the new transparency feature, which has become a part of previews in recent releases. We're working with the Manifold Viewer here. Here's the free Manifold Viewer. This is free to download. You don't have to register, give it your email address or anything like that. There's no advertising. There's no attempt to upsell. It's just free software in the old way. All this works in the free Manifold system. In the Manifold System Release 9 as well, which is the commercial version of Manifold. What we're looking at here is a project that shows real estate parcels as dots on a coastline, which is near the sea. And the map here has three layers. There's the Parcel Centroids layer. That's the centroids of the dots, the parcels. It has a terrain elevation layer, which is a synthetic terrain that's been thematically formatted and colored based on heights generated from the Space Shuttle SRTM mission. That's the radar topography mission. And we have a satellite layer here, which you can turn off and on. And the satellite layer fills in gaps in the Space Shuttle terrain elevation up here in the mountains where the Space Shuttle didn't acquire radar data. And it also fills in gaps down here where the thematic formatting results in transparent pixels very close to the shore, because what we've done is we've knocked out the pixels here for sea level. And filling all that in with the satellite ends up having a nice effect. Now, the Parcel Centroids, if we right-click on the Parcel Centroids tab and down here off-screen choose Open Table, we can see, and I'll shift-click on this on Docket, we can see that the parcels table has a Z field for each parcel, and that's the proposed height of the structure that's going to be built here. And we're going to use that as the height for the visibility zone, so we can see whether we can see the ocean from all these sites. Because when you're building properties near the seashore, a lot of people want to see an ocean view for their property. And there's a few comments here, like here, this was on a high ridge, this one down here. Let's control-click on that to select it. That's only 60 meters to the beach. So that's pretty close to the water. And as you can see, this is manifold, so we can select things either in the table by control-clicking them, toggle them like that, or we can control-click and drag to select them here. Let's select that one as well, and that appears as well in the parcels table. I'm going to turn that parcels table off. Let's close that. Now let's do our viewshed magic with the transform pane. Click on transform. We're going to work with the terrain elevation data set. Check. We're going to work with the tile data in the terrain elevation data set. And we're going to use I'm going to double click here to do the viewshed template. And I want to see the visible area from any of these. That is, from any of these parcel centroids, but only from those that are selected. And for the height above ground, the relative height above ground, the terrain, we're going to use the Z field. And that's going to be relative Z. Now, if we actually wanted to compute this and build a new visibility a drawing with visibility zones as polygons, I'd fill in the name of the drawing in the table here, but I'm just going to click the preview, so you can see I don't need to do any of that filling. And what this does, this shows the viewshed, and we can choose the opacity, for example, 100% opacity, which is the default. All these polygonal areas here that are complex areas that are shown in that blue color are zones from which the terrain elevation can be seen from any of the selected parcels. Let's click back here. And the old release of the prior build had just the ability to choose left and right screen split, because by default the results of the preview were opaque, so they hid whatever was below. Oops, let's choose that back. And I can click and drag here the splitter to see all or part of the screen like that. Now the new system adds this, when you right-click on the caption bar here, it adds an opacity setting where with one click you can choose, say, 75% opacity or 50% or 25%. I usually work with 50% or 75%. Let's use 75% here. That's just enough so you get a view of the dots that are underneath. And you can see it works with the split screen feature, whether that's on or off. That still stays the same opacity thing. What's nice about previews is that previews keep working even when you're doing other things. So, for example, you can change the layers here. You can turn layers on and off. For example, terrain elevation on and off. And let's click on the Parcel Centroids layer, and we'll choose the Tracker tool here. We'll click Tracker tool, and then here we'll turn Snap on, so it'll snap to the various points. And so if I want to measure the distance from, say, this parcel centroid to the beach, and I can click the space bar to turn snapping on and off. As you can see down here in the lower left-hand corner, it gives me a readout. It's about 9,000 meters from this parcel down to the seashore, so it's about 9 kilometers. So that's a long way to walk. You're probably going to take your car when you want to get down to the beach or your bike or whatever. And let's switch that back to default. And let's see what else we can do. One of the things we can do here with focus on the map, we can choose window, new window. And what that'll do is that'll pop open a duplicate version of the map. That's a new viewport, new map window viewport that shows the same map. So here you can see in this map version we have the Parcel Centroids. So that's the layer, terrain elevation layer, and the satellite layer. But these two windows are more or less independent of each other. For example, they can be panned and zoomed independently of each other. Although if you turn layers on and off, the layers turning off and on are synchronized in both layers because they are, after all, the same component. You can have the to put the focus on different layers here, and you can pan and zoom them and turn them on and off in different ways. And what's most important is you can have the transform pane choose. So let's undock this as well. Let's undock that to about like that. And now we're looking at the two different windows at the same time, and the two different windows into the same map. In this map, when we click here on the map to the left, the transform pane remembers everything that was used to create this display. So that's persistent. That's still there. We can change things a bit here, and it's going to operate on this window over. When we click on this window on the right, the transform pane hasn't had anything done on it. It has no context because we haven't done any transforms here. So let's do a transform there. We'll choose the terrain elevation layer. We'll choose the tile field. We'll choose view shed. And this time we'll choose visible area from all, from the selection only, and we're going to use the Z field as the height, relative height. Click preview. And now what this does is that this is showing us the regions that are visible from both of these, that is from all of these selected points simultaneously. And you can see that that's significantly less area than you can see from here. And everything works here the way you'd expect it to. For example, we can zoom in, and we can use partial transparency here if we like. There's 50% transparency, and we can set this completely independently of what's the view here from the view there. And if we change our mind about, say, what's going on here, and we want to do something completely different here, well, we can do that as well. So, for example, in this one, let's say we want to do let's say we want to do contours. That's always fun. Output type of lines, full range, and let's make contours every 50 meters. Click preview, and let's see what happens. So you can see here we've done an entirely different transform, and we're getting an entirely different preview in this window as we have in this window as well. And at the same time, of course, we can still keep doing stuff like let's open this table for the parcels table again, and I'm going to undock it. And if I like, I can do things with the select pane here. For example, let's choose the select pane, and let's use parcels table. Let's use the Z field, and let's search for Z that's greater than 12. Click preview, and there you can see the preview. It's showing the selections that we had previously in a red selection color, and it's doing the preview for the search in blue. So where it would select something new plus in it that's already selected, you get this combined color of purple. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this quick view. Use previews as a working instrument. It's a great way to get a kind of like a quick virtual view. Of course, if you're working with really huge data, it's going to take a while to compute the preview because Manifold computes previews absolutely accurately. All these contours are exactly the way they would be because they're computed on the full data set. So that might take a while with really huge data, but as you can see, even with pretty big chunks of SRTM data like we're doing right here, the preview is pretty darn near instantaneous. It's really quick. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Remember, tell your friends, and goodbye from Manifold Land. Well, that was fun. If you want to see more, visit us at www.manifold.net. As always, Manifold delivers the world's most advanced, highest quality spatial products for GIS and DBMS at a low price that you can afford. Once again, that's manifold.net. See you soon.